to anyone who's watching us online, and I'm hoping that the picture is a little bit clearer today than it has been recently, but we are looking at ways to make the visual presentation of these meetings a lot better, and we have it in mind to have that sorted out by the end of the summer. I think we should go straight into the agenda. We've got apologies from Jeremy, who may be able to attend a later part of the meeting. We have the Part 1 minutes from last time. Are we content, please? Thank you very much. In which case, we will go on to the action log. James, are you doing that?
So there are 3 open Part 1 actions. I think the target dates are all June and July. They are Mark and Andrew's actions if you did want any particular updates on those.
Thank you very much. And we'll go to Part 2 actions when we get to that part of the agenda. Are there any questions about
in relation to the minutes? There was a section which is touched on about the chair of ARAC delivering his messages to the board, and there was quite a long discussion. Information data collection. Come out.
Okay. Well, would you like to
work with James to put some messages to the board which are in the ARAC, in the ARAC bit, but that should be the board bit.
Yes, okay.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll leave James and Nick to discuss that, and if the board's content, I will then sign off the minutes with those amendments. Thank you very much. Okay, in which case we will go straight on to the Part 1 performance report. Mark, I think you're leading on this.
Yeah, thank you, David. Good afternoon, board. Yes, this is a new style paper. Previously, board members have had various updates on these items in standalone papers, but we've brought it together in one paper for this meeting moving forwards. So section 1, just to sort of pick up a few highlights. Section 1 covers some things around the organisation and corporate matters. So NED appointments. It's obviously already been identified. To the 2 new directors joining the board. The financial settlement from the department was received in March, and that obviously covers 3 years Ardale, 4 years capital, and housing delivery update is included in 1.6. The housing numbers do cover the end point of last year. We haven't done a count since the 1st of April. We'll obviously bring something to the next board meeting to cover that in July. Section 2 covers planning, so the development sites update in the table. We've started to have pre-app on a couple of new phases across Eastern Quarry. So one small scheme just close to the school, and then another phase being brought forward by Vistry and Clarion on Ashmere. We have committee this evening, so 3 applications will be considered by the planning committee at the meeting this evening. So that's from 5 o'clock. And we're working on the Gresham local plan response. John, it's a fascinating reading for the team. So Ebbsfleet Living primarily contained in Annex B, but there are some highlights in the main paper just to identify, obviously, the opening of the Weldon Heart Community Building. That was a really good event on the 4th of April. And during Sarah's first week, we had an interesting sort of launch of a report that we did jointly with Dartford Council and SQW, looking at skills gaps in the area. Development update, section 5. I think I mentioned there's a verbal update in the last meeting that the Ebbsfleet Central Planning Permission was issued just before the last board meeting, and since then a non-material amendment has also been approved. There's a photo there around the Ebbsfleet Green Community Building, so that is the larger of the 2 buildings that we could worth the pavilion community hub. And section 6 then covers the infrastructure updates, looking at Springhead Bridge, electricity, and fast track tunnel. So I'm asking board to note the update and also approve Alina to join the ARAC committee. Please, David, I think we need to do that today. But you're happy to take any questions.
Thank you very much indeed. Sorry, I should have formally welcomed Elena and Peter to the board, but we've said hello to you in so many different sort of different ways today. But I forgot, so apologies for that. Colleagues, if you are content to note this report, I think we should move on, but also we need to approve Elena's appointment to ARAC with a view in due course to take it over as chair when Mick will be standing down. So are we content with that, please?
Right.
Thank you. And are there any other items that were for noting that you particularly want to discuss?
It was just formally noting the laying of the accounts. Because
Yeah.
the report talks about us in
Yeah.
the future, so
Yes, it's
it might be worth just formally noting.
Yes, it's true. I think it was a day later than it says in there. So, but yes, all colleagues around this table should have received a confirmation yesterday.
Yeah.
That we're laying them this week.
And Andrew, I should say congratulations on getting that done. A massive effort in your first couple of months here.
Thank you.
So very, very, very well done. One of your colleagues was saying to us what a fantastic job you had done, just to spare your blushes. But
Well, thank you.
thank you very much. Okay, in that case, we will move on to the end of year report, please. And Andrew, you will do that.
Yes, thanks, David. So this report deals with both the finances and the performance for 2025-26, the year just gone. Starting with the revenue or Ardell outturn for the year. The board had received an update previously in January, Q3 position of expecting 7.3 million. In the end, our final outturn was 7.15, so a reduction of 150 grand between that quarter and the last. Is principally caused by the fact we had quite a lot of estates contingency lines which weren't then utilised, so we had quite a lot of contingency for reactive works and other unknowns there which weren't used. So we're slightly down. There was a bit of vacancy rate as well within staff. Moving on to capital outturn. So the final position, and noting that this hasn't been audited, so we think it's materially correct, but it should be noted this is provisional at this stage. That the final outturn was 17.1 million against a previously reported figure at Q3 of 18.1 million. If you look through, I mean, there's kind of one key driver of that. So the Weldon Pavilion works reduced by 725k. There was a delay because of the buried electrical cables, which were needed to change route, I think, similar. So that has been pushed back into 26-27. We're forecasting it in this year. That was the principal driver for the underspend relative to the previous year forecast. Going on to the performance review. So this is a performance report against the original key priority actions and the KPIs which were agreed at board just over a year ago, last March. In terms of the business plan priorities which were outlined, there were 16 of which 9 achieved met and 7 not met. However, I should caveat that here you will see in Annex C, where it's outlined in detail, we've added a bit more nuance to the met, not met, rather than just the kind of very much a binary as well. I think the kind of significant achievements, I list them in 7.4.2, but moving forward with the REBA Stage 2 design and getting an operator for the Northfleet station or land at Northfleet Station project. We've done great with our planning performance across the year. and appointing Campbell Reith as professional design consultant. A few areas where we didn't achieve, so the adoption of Springhead Bridge, I think we mentioned it previously at board, was not adopted by KCC. Should be noted that this is still progressing and we're still confident of their adoption of it this year by Q3, and Alkerton Hub as well, so kind of legal agreements there not being finalised. Moving on to the KPIs, we've got some KPIs where we've achieved really well. So our resident satisfaction survey, so 85% of respondents believing strong sense of community is a really good result and has exceeded our target. We've delivered £80 million of sustainable investment, and we've exceeded our target of the amount of diversified homes, of which there were 65. However, there are also areas, 5, where we didn't meet our targets. In particular, these are all around the homes completion and the subsequent investment. A lot of them are linked to homes. So we had a target of 565 homes and only 491 were done. We know that there is a very challenging housing market at this time and will continue to be so, and board will be well aware of that as well. So the annexes provide more detail, both in terms of the finances and the performance for the year. Would welcome any comments, questions, but the ask is to note the report.
Thank you very much. Any comments, colleagues?
One minor point. In section 5, Andrew, paragraph 5.1 says that we've got FHCLG's permission to use 1 million of results. 5.2 says we're allocating 1.1.
Oh, sorry, that could be clearer. So the revenue budget is split between kind of what's called admin, so the kind of staffing, and then the programme. Yeah. So that is actually slightly separate. So it's 1.1 million against programme activities.
Okay.
Well, we are noting the annual performance report.
Yep.
And thank you very much, Andrew. In which case, we have had no public questions, so there are no responses to public questions. And we are done part 1 board. Thank you very much.